I have been handed the torch and I have got to thrive because I have generations underneath me that are watching, and I have really got to show them that you have to have a no failure concept.
When it's your passion, you have to anticipate that people will not be on board to the degree you would expect them to be on board.
Let your ego go. Let it go and just learn. It's a lifelong decision. It's not, I'm going to act, direct, and write. This is a lifelong decision. And you got to learn every single day.
You'd have to know if a person is serious about being successful or if it's a front and they're afraid of success.
It's worth it. Like, the work and the sacrifice is worth it, that I get to say exactly what I want to say all the time. And that is so important to me.
Yeah.
Be able to express myself.
I'm a writer, creator, producer, director, author, and community champion. But that's not how the story started. I faced rejections more times than I could count and found support in the most surprising places. Scrap paper is where I make sense of it all. The scraps, the stories, and the strength behind the journey.
So excited to have my good friend Kelly Dansby here. Super producer, just an amazing human being, and I love that we're getting to have this conversation. It's been some years, but you've been busy working on some stuff. Let's jump right in. How did you even get into the creative space, into the film and television space?
Well, it started when we was doing music, and when you do a lot of videos and things of that nature, it just tapped my curiosity to doing films. When we had the idea, it was extremely expensive to do, so it was just more like when we get to that level type of thing. And then one thing led to another, and then we was doing films, and we was working on a project called Rain, and it went well. We didn't get a chance to complete the actual filming of it, but the teaser that we did, and we got a great response from that. So from that moment, I never lost it. I just had put it on pause.
Yeah, so I remember Rain, and talk about the inspiration for Rain, because that was such an interesting project. And I feel like in meeting you during that time of your journey, just the excitement, the energy you had around, like, I'm doing this.
Yeah. Well, Rain was, it was, what year was that? 2012, I think, 2010, let's say 2010. So it was a 2010 version of Purple Rain. I'm inspired by a lot of music. I was managing Ashi at the time. Ashi's major credits, we was on Jim Jones's album, his Sony album. So off of the energy of that whole movement, we decided to do Rain. Rain, again, like I said, was a 2010 version of Purple Rain, which it was about the group Die Hard and the whole energy behind that type of a group movement, and Ashi being the lead actor. And it would have been really, really good. It was, I won't say a musical, but it had a lot of musical components. It was kind of like Dreamgirls, but for men, on the flip side, on the guy's side.
And now a brief word from our sponsors.
Scrap Paper is all about exploring new ideas, and so is our sponsor, Epiphany Resources. If you're a leader or entrepreneur looking for clarity, purpose, and resilience, Epiphany Resources can help you turn your ideas into action. Through coaching and speaking, they help people grow beyond their current situation and navigate life's toughest challenges. Visit epiphanyresourcesllc.com to start your journey. Everyone deserves support. Whether you're facing a mental health challenge, struggling with addiction, or just need someone to listen, Piedmont Community Services is here for you. They provide expert counseling and recovery programs to help individuals and families thrive, because a stronger, healthier community starts with you. If you or someone you love needs support, visit piedmontcsb.info to learn more. Help is here. You are not alone.
And now back to Scrap Paper with Natalie K. Hodge.
So expanding on that idea of sometimes things don't work out and then that turns into something that does work out. Talk more about how Rain, then not working out of Rain, then led you into a next phase of what you do now.
Okay, so basically it was after Rain, to be honest with you, we was done. She wasn't doing music anymore. I mean, it wasn't because of Rain itself, but it just was the beginning of the, how would you say, the end of that particular type of projects that we was working on. So life moved on. I got introduced to coaching. I was coaching my goddaughter's basketball team, and then that led me, because as you know, I cannot do anything at a small scale. There's no disrespect, but I reach for the moon and the stars. So went back to school, got my degree, ended up getting a coaching job in college, right, real fast. So as I'm coaching at the college level, I learned a lot of things about leading young men and teamwork, et cetera, et cetera. So what happened was I've always still had ideas on the back burner. What changed was, instead of me doing projects that had other people as the lead, I had a project in my back pocket that was totally mine, but didn't know if I was going to do it. Then COVID hit, and COVID was an eye-opener. It was the apocalypse. It was the end. And then when things tend to look like it's the end, you start reminiscing or saying the things that I didn't do. And my movie, Stash the Movie, was one of those things. So a good friend of mine, JB Coleman, he's a script writer, director. He actually wrote Rain. I gave him a call and I said, hey, I'm thinking about doing Stash. And then he was like, okay, tell me about it. Gave him a little, gave him some pointers. How would you say? We call it dots. So it's like, okay, here is scenario for the first scene, second scene, so forth and so on. And then he takes it, he wrote it. And then during COVID, he told me, he said, hey, film your movie. I say, well, how are we gonna do it as COVID? He said, film your movie. So I was in Arizona at the time, went back to New York, put together a team. And then from there, we just scripted. We got the actors. Everybody was so ready to get back to work. It was late in COVID, maybe I want to say September. And then we filmed Rain. And then a year later, we won a couple of awards. We won the New York Tri-State Film Festival Award. We won the Roma, Italy Award. And then we got runner-up for another award. So based off of that momentum, we was able to get a distribution situation where we're on Prime Video and a couple of other platforms, as well as Tubi, which then led me to, hey, I just want to do this full time. Yeah. So there was no more coaching. It was understood. It's like basically I didn't have enough time to kind of do both. Right. We had multiple projects, so we was moving on at that point.
Yeah, what are some of the lessons you learned during this process of going from music industry, Rain, then Stash, and now Stash 2?
When it's your project, when it's your desires, nothing will stop you. You really can't anticipate. So it's more like this is a learning tool for anybody who's trying to follow and do things. When it's your passion, you have to anticipate that people will not be on board to the degree you would expect them to be on board. And that's frustrating because you're moving in one particular direction and you're moving fast, and other people either have other agendas or say they want to do something and they really not 2 feet in, especially at our level, which is a low budget film, right? So we're doing micro budgets is what it's called. So we're not these big high budgets where I could just throw a boatload of cash in front of somebody's face and they'll jump. So what I took from this whole process is, as long as I stay committed to myself, that I'll get to the end. Albeit, hey, it's gonna be a lot of bumps in the road when it comes to people that you would think would be totally committed to what your desires are.
Yeah, this is what I love and admire about you, Kels, is when you first talked to me about the first Stash movie, and you broke down all of the elements to it. Your writer was still kind of putting pieces together, but you called me on the phone, and I remember this specific day. And I stepped outside of my office to take the call. I'm standing outside. You're running down. This has, action. It's got fight sequences. It's got all this stuff. And I'm like, Kels, how much money you got? Like, don't worry about that. And I was just like, he is so crazy. He is so absolutely crazy. And I love that, because you cannot be logical in some elements of doing this work. Because if you have a micro budget, the cards are stacked against you, and you have to feel like, regardless of that, I'm pushing forward, I'm figuring it out. And I've been so incredibly proud of you, because you did it in the face of all opposition. I remember you would, hit me up and say, I'm looking for this. Can you help me with this? Sometimes I'd have an answer. Sometimes I would be struggling with you. But through it all, just making it happen. And then not only having survived that first experience, but saying, I'm putting together a sequel. Tell me about the sequel.
Well, before I jump to the sequel, my producer is looking at me. She's my producer. She's the producer extraordinaire. I was, as you would say, naked in doing Stash, the movie, because I didn't have you. You was no longer in New York. So I was calling you all the time, because you was the person that I leaned on when it comes to doing films. I still do. You're still my producer. I learned how to produce through you. Now, moving forward, what was the second part? The second question, I'm so sorry.
Tell us about the sequel.
Okay. So, the aspect of having low budgets and dreams and things of that nature led me to doing a film that, when I look back at it, I loved it. I love Stash. And we wrote Stash in a trilogy. But Stash 2 was always, in my opinion, the movie. It was the movie that if you saw Stash 2 and never saw Stash 1, you'll be like, oh, this was hot. Like, it still keeps you in tune with every component of what Stash 1 led to, right? But if you see Stash 1 after seeing Stash 2, you're going to say, I get the storyline. But the quality of the film is going to be different. So when you said there was action sequences and these things and fight sequences, yes. But how did I make that happen without a big budget? We cut a lot out of the script. So instead of a 5-minute fight back and forth sequence, it was a punch and keep it moving. Yeah, like, things like that. Instead of a car chase scene, it was jump out the back of the window, run up the block, jump on the train, keep things like that. So we still had enough action, but Stash was more about the story.
Right.
Stash 2, it's what I call Fast and Furious meets the Equalizer. So there's more action. I was able to get a lot of those things done in this one. How people enjoyed watching Stash, actors, stunt people. So now they wanted to get involved in Stash 2. Stash 2's a larger budget though. Difficulty is obtaining the funds for said budget, but it's compared to what 1 was, it's quadrupled that particular budget. So with this one, and with technology and cameras coming back down to earth, we are able to do part 2. And I'm looking forward to people seeing part 2 and then ask how much you did that for. And that's kind of like a little feather in my cap. Same thing with part 1. They say, how much you did that for? And, I just, shrug. But yeah, that's what makes me feel really good, is that we're able to create movies without a whole lot of money.
Yeah, and you should feel absolutely amazing.
And now a brief word from our sponsors.
At Tad Tavern, the lights dim, the mic turns on, and creativity takes center stage. As proud sponsors of Scrap Paper, Tad Tavern believes in giving bold voices a space to be heard, surrounded by delicious food, good vibes, and unforgettable experiences. Whether you're there for the show or the stuffed shrimp, you're in the right place. Visit tadtavern.com to reserve your seat at the table where food meets inspiration. Scrap Paper is all about exploring ideas and pushing boundaries, and so is our sponsor, Epiphany Resources. Success isn't just about knowing what to do, it's about having the clarity and resilience to do it. Epiphany Resources helps leaders and business owners break through the obstacles and grow into their full potential through coaching, mentoring, and speaking. If you're ready to take the next step, visit epiphanyresourcesllc.com.
And now back to Scrap Paper with Natalie K. Hodge.
Along the way, just to keep things going personally, what kinds of side projects, side hustles have you gotten into to make this all happen for you?
For Stash too, or in general?
In general, yeah.
In general, well, so once I started doing films, I realized that this is it. So the multitasking of things doing to try to hustle and get up money was just slowing me down. So besides taking care of family situations, I've been just totally about doing Stash too, and just focusing on obtaining funds for that. And I've had a little money stashed, so I was okay, like to where I can live.
For Stash.
Yeah, had a stash for Stash, but yeah, it was razor focus on just this one project. I have multiple projects that come behind, so it's a series of events with once this one is done, then I'm doing the next one, so forth and so on. But this is it. There's nothing else.
No safety net.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Dive off the diving board and hope there's water in the pool.
Listen, knowing you will make water on the way. Who or what keeps it all together for you? Your projects, your ideas, your personal life. How do you keep it all together?
And again, you're like my sister, so I could be frank. Me. Like, honestly speaking, like I really, people have to understand when you're razor focused, not everybody can understand your focus. And you can come across as selfish, right? You could come across selfish with your time, your energy. When things aren't going well, how do you handle that? Do you, as a friend would tell me, go in the bat cave and figure things out and really don't want to be around anybody? So it's just, as the great De La Soul said, it's me, myself, and I. Not to say that I don't have people around me. Yes, I do, but I'm not leaning on anybody. It's, hey, I'm going in this direction, and once I get there, then whoever is around will be around. Whoever's not, I'm not worried about. And that's because you're my sister, so I'll tell you the truth.
Yeah, that's real. And the fact that you quoted De La Soul, kudos. If you could go back in time and give your younger self some advice, what would you share with younger Kels?
To just be more confident in younger Kels. So I know that sounds crazy, right? But being that, like, I played college baseball, I was always a part of a team, right? So when you're a part of a team, you play your particular role. So although I was a part of a rap group, I was more like the business portion of the rap group, said my rhymes, but we had the lead rapper. He was incredible, right? So I had my role. Then you move forward, and then you're managing people, and basically you're living your life through their life, right? So they have to be successful for you to be successful. What I would tell myself then is like, hey, you got great ideas. You could be a great rapper. Just be more about you and you taking the lead and you pushing the envelope for you, because again, not everybody can keep the same pace as you. Again, you said sometimes people said I'm not recklessly moving, but moving at a speed where it might appear to the outside like, yo, you're doing too much. But in reality, it's like, I can move at that speed. You're not moving at that speed and you're slowing me down. And you blink, 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 and years go by. So what I would tell my younger self is like, hey, focus on you and you being that person, and have other people assist you in the process. So if you wasn't the best rapper, have the best rapper in the group right with you. And if that person's slow, you then do your own album. Instead of you coming to a halt because you was, hey, this is my role. If you was managing one person and that person wasn't moving, hey, you know what, then you be the artist. So with Stash and doing films, I'm the artist, right? I'm the person who can create these ideas, albeit I have a team. I have a team of writers. I have, a growing team of other producers, a great camera guy, a great executive producer, Tanya Robles. I do have people that are there to assist, albeit it's just me moving forward at warp speed.
So you're just putting this thing on your back. I love that. I love that you keep that energy of like, hook or crook, this is happening. As you think about what's next, I know right now you're wrapping up post-production for Stash 2. Is there a vision for the next thing that's going to happen?
Yes, God. So I did leave that out. Like a lot of prayers. Like I pray every day. Like me and God, me and the Lord, we have a lot of conversations of why this, that, and the third. So what pushes me is my faith. My faith pushes me through. Moving forward after Stash 2, we have a couple of films. We have a horror film that we're working on, and we also have a film. It's called Unfaithful Bliss. Unfaithful Bliss is 50 Shades of Grey meets Fatal Attraction. So those two films are the next two films that's coming out. Those films will be theater ready type films. Stash 1 was a platform film. Stash 2 is select theaters, but the next two, Encanto is the name of the horror film, and Unfaithful Bliss, those will be theater ready from the gate, multiple theaters. That's how I'm producing it. Those are the platforms I wanted to go on. Albeit I know that everything is about streaming, and I love streaming, don't get me wrong, I love streaming. But I always dreamt of seeing my movie on the big screen.
Yeah.
Right? So just because it's like, you can you get so much money. Yeah, I want to see it on the big screen. I want to see people's reaction while they watch on a big screen. So I'm producing movies for that. And with your help, I want to learn how to do series, web series. I think that's a challenging task, but I'm willing to learn through you. So then eventually I want to get into doing series.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, come on, we down like 4 flat tires.
Yeah. Yes, definitely. That's what's up.
Well, thank you so much for popping on Scrap Paper. Again, I just applaud you for your courage, for your resilience, for jumping into these spaces and saying, I don't know everything, but I know enough to figure out how to make this work on a dime. And I know that people who are watching this, who are listening to this, will get so much value as they're thinking about their own projects and knowing that they only have a couple of dollars to put together. Like, reach out to Kels. If you can get him on the phone and just get words of inspiration, some direction on how to make it happen. So thank you.
Yeah, I have no problem sharing. Hey, if I can help you from not hitting certain walls, by all means, I'll tell you the wall is there.